Frisk. How are you, man? Thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it. Um, Before we get started, I just want to preface a few things. We're going to get into, crypto and collector cards and film and other things I know that you and I both like. But just before we get really into the nitty gritty of everything, I appreciate you coming on, man. And this is like a really cool opportunity. Thank you so much.
Dude, it's a pleasure. Thank you for having me, man. I appreciate you doing this. It's your first episode, right? It's your first one?
It is, yes. First guest episove ever, which is pretty much the first episode.
I should be honored right now. But yeah, no, that means a lot. Seriously, pleasure to have you bring me on and stuff. I'm glad we get a chance to talk. I know we don't normally get a chance to talk, so this means a lot. But yeah.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that a lot. I mean, both ways for sure, 100%. I guess the biggest question and the easiest question to start is, how did you get into crypto? And was that Solana first? And then how did you decide if you wanted to be a content creator in crypto?
So I bought Bitcoin with my family, like very small amounts, just through hearing it from people at work and stuff like that. But as far as being in Web3, actually in Web3, I started out on ETH, or technically started out on Binance, actually. Back in 2021, there was a huge wave of Binance meme coins that were running up a lot. If you ask anyone who was around that time, they know the Binance meme season. It was insane. It was just absolutely insane. So a few friends and I, we were trading very small amounts of money around the time. And then I heard about these things called NFTs, and I got involved in them on ETH, and then quickly found Solana. And then I just stayed on Solana because I made a lot of friends there, and the rest is history. I've been using Solana for a long time. I've branched out to multiple chains, but I keep coming back to Solana because, well, it's where all the action is. It just is.
I totally agree. Solana's great. Similar to you, started on ETH, and I feel like a lot of people start on ETH or Bitcoin and get to
That's
Solana.
where all the attention was at the time. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But honestly, Solana, I mean, the entire economy feels like it's here, honestly. And it's great. So what made you go from I like Solana, I'm making money on NFTs, to I want to be a creator? And was that by accident or is that on purpose?
A bit of both. I just kind of knew I liked making videos. I have a background in film and that sort of stuff. And so I realized that there wasn't much people making good content at the time. And the few people that were, I think, set the bar high enough to a point where I felt like I could reach it. And so I originally had started a YouTube channel. That didn't last very long. And then I moved into just tweeting a lot and getting to know the right people and stuff like that, running a few giveaways, working with different projects. And in turn, it bolsters the account pretty quickly just by, interacting with more people and stuff like that. Granted, a lot of my following these days is just dead accounts that I don't really have. So I try not to let it get to my head, because I think a lot of it is just people that are gone. However, I know that all of my following has been organic. I never botted my own followers or anything like that. Every follower that I have is just people that I interacted with, that sort of stuff. So I am very proud of that, because it's something that I built for a while. I wouldn't know what I would do if I lost the account. I've seen people lose access to their account and stuff like that. But yeah, it's a scary thought.
Yeah, especially when you're making money from your account, or at least you're on the way to making money, or using it as some sort of revenue.
Man.
Yeah, exactly. For sure. Yeah. I mean, it's major. Yeah, I remember back in 2022 how CT was just so different then. But yeah, I felt like when someone got suspended back then, it was a nightmare, and it was the news of the day, right? Because it was a huge livelihood knock for those people. So you obviously have a great account. I totally understand the dead follower thing. Or people, honestly, it's people who just left, right? Because 2022 is a lot different than now. People who made money at NFTs, I feel like it doesn't really sometimes always correlate to meme coins and other metas, right? If you want to call 2022 into mid 2023 NFTs, and then raffle meta kind of ended it, and then meme coins started 2024 to 2025. Me personally, I'm not a good meme coin trader. I'm a big NFT guy, but I wasn't a meme coin trader. So I totally understand having an account that you did a lot back then to NFTs. And honestly, I still think, and this is just me giving flowers because you deserve them, I still think your account's incredible, right? You're still getting, crypto Twitter is so hard, right? They're changing the algorithm every week. It feels like the metas change every other month. It's hard to keep a following, people engaged, especially if you're talking about one thing and those people aren't good at that meta, then they just leave, or they don't make money and they left, right? So I understand how difficult it can be to transition between metas. But you did a really good job. And I think right now you're probably one of my favorite crypto Twitter accounts that does everything how I would love to do it if I could grow to that level, honestly.
It's not that hard, man. I promise. I don't think what I do is that special. I'm just very very
That's what
hard
makes
to
it
get.
special, right? It
Yeah,
makes
and
it
maybe
special
that's
because
what
you
it.
don't think it is.
I think it's just normal. It just feels like normal me. Like I don't feel like I get a lot of shit from like my close friends who tell me I don't tweet enough and that sort of stuff. And for what it's worth, they're
Mhm.
probably right that I don't. However, it doesn't change the fact that like the actual tweets that I do put out is like I try to keep them just about like things I find interesting, things that I find cool. That's the goal, and that's what makes any account interesting. You know, like if I need to look at charts and stuff like that, there are certain accounts I'll go and I'll look at. You know, you got the Leverage Labs boys, you got Easy who's constantly tweeting about charts, you've got Trader Main who runs a great show. If I'm looking for like entertainment or like DeFi protocol stuff like that, people like ICO Beast is great. Bandit always, even for as nonchalant and casual as he is, he's always highlighting something cool happening in the space. Like there's accounts that you go to for certain things. The thing that's been cool lately is that CT has really branched out from all focusing on one major thing until every so often something chaotic breaks out and then it just gets crazy. But you know, like I've been tweeting a lot about Pokemon cards, as I'm sure like a big RWA narrative has been shifted on chain. We've seen it reflected socially, but I also think metrically in that front as well too. So that goes a long way. Prediction markets were a big topic back in Q4. Not quite as popular right now, I'd say, from a social standpoint, but I don't think that they're slowing down at all right now. I don't know what their metrics are like volume wise, like the big prediction markets and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, CT's always been like this niche bubble. It always has been. And slowly you start to see people break out. People start to get, you know, affiliated with bigger accounts and that sort of stuff. Alex Finn is one of the best examples of this, where he started out as NFT God. And then he turned into this guy who is constantly analyzing Twitter metrics. And then he moved into AI and Claude and vibe coding and stuff like that. It's the natural course of action to eventually leave crypto Twitter. But I don't think that anyone ever truly leaves as well, too. So yeah, there's a happy mix of it. I've felt it as well too, where I will still continually come back and talk about crypto topics. I never want to leave. I enjoy talking about DeFi. I really like talking about Web3 and blockchain and stuff like that. But I also enjoy talking about the other things that are cool and interesting, which to me is things like RWAs, things like prediction markets, things that are, I don't know, very the shiny new toy. I'm all for it. People want to complain and talk about how everyone loves to look at the shiny new toy and gravitate towards it too easily. I am all for it. I think we need more shiny new toys now than ever. I don't think we have enough of them. But yeah, that's my 2 cents.
Yeah, a lot to unpack, but phenomenal answer. I mean, you're
I
100%
rambled a
right,
bit
right?
there. Sorry.
No, no, no.
That will happen again. I'm sorry in advance.
It is totally good. I mean, it's a great answer. And I honestly agree with every single thing you said. I think the biggest thing is people branch out from crypto Twitter, but they always come back. But I think back in 2022 and 2023, when crypto, again, let's call it a bull cycle or the end of last bull cycle, they were a lot more into crypto than they are now. It feels like now people are way more willing to try other things if we're going to call this a bear market. And let's say 2023 was, or whenever the last Solana was $8, it felt like people were still holding onto crypto much more then, but now they're willing to branch out to other things. And I think that's what takes creators like you, perfect example, we can go right into Pokemon cards, from crypto Twitter to the next level, right? Like Ansems, like NFT God's a great example. I mean, that's a super throwback for people who haven't been here that long.
Yeah.
And I think what you're doing with Pokemon cards with Collector Crypt is just one of those things, right? It's a natural evolution of something that you liked that is a meta. You're capitalizing on that meta, and honestly, I love it. And I want you to talk about it. I don't want to ramble, but
No,
yeah,
please.
explain to me how you started going from talking purely about crypto. Not that you've always done that either, but just talking about crypto mostly, to wanting to branch out into Pokemon cards and talking to Collector Crypt, which you can totally talk about openly as much as you want on this podcast.
Yeah. I mean, so having partnered with them recently, very recently actually, has been a blessing because it's not easy finding work in the space. And so, especially from a content side of things, they are in an interesting realm right now, though, where their goal is to work on making content for people outside of Web3. And that's a big part of my job, starting very soon. But right now, we're still catching our footing and that sort of stuff. No, but it's a simple lineage of thought, and it's one that I seem to fall victim to neglecting very often. But don't ignore the meta. Like, it's as simple as that. Don't ignore the meta. Don't write it off, even if it's temporary, even if it's short term. Why would you write it off, especially in times like right now? Why would you not learn about everything there is? Like I just said, we were just giving examples. Right now, there's a big Pokemon card meta. You can see it in the metrics, you can see it in the volume, you can see it in the price action. People are spending more volume happening on not just Collector Crypt, all of these platforms, and even outside of Web3, Pokemon cards. I just read a stat the other day that in the last year, the Pokemon Company printed 10.2 billion cards in a single year. Holy crap. That's insane. And you're telling me that there's still demand for all of it. You can't go to a Costco without having a limit on the amount of packs that you can pick up. And you think that this is not going to do well in Web3 too? It's 100% going to do well in Web3. The point with the metas thing that I was trying to make is you look at what's happening right now with RWAs, mostly just trading card games at this point, and you think about how it's going to extend. Before then, prediction markets were a really big thing. What else was a really big thing right before then? Privacy narrative. When Zcash was running. And people were like, okay, what's the next best thing? The smart thing to do was buy Monero. When you saw Zcash running. Metas and narratives go a long way. It's best not to ignore them. The same thing happened just the past weekend with Asteroid, I think. The dog coin that pumped like hell after Elon tweeted about it, you know?
Yes,
Those are the kinds of things that you can't ignore, you shouldn't ignore. Because if you do, you're missing out on opportunity. But yeah, that's just my point. And so when it comes to crypto, I was constantly tweeting about the narrative, constantly tweeting about the meta, and it's been my goal ever since I started is to always tweet about what's relevant, always tweet about the news. I run a show every week, and the goal is always what's happening in crypto for the week. That's the goal every single time.
Yeah, I mean, totally understood. Follow metas is a great way to just grow and be happy and make new content and never run out of ideas. Going back to Pokemon cards quickly, give me your, and I also, I don't know if you are a sports person as much. I know you're not a super big sports person, but Top Shot obviously is something people reference all the time.
There you go. Yeah. Top Shot was a big deal.
I think that was ironically like 2 months before Basie Mint. And of course I stopped using Top Shot and then didn't mint Basie, even though a bunch of the people that I was like talking to in the community of Top Shot
we're doing Basie. Yeah. Basie was
a big L for me.
Would have been a crazy win. Yeah.
A crazy win. Explain to me your thoughts truly on, especially as someone who loves Pokemon and probably collected cards when they were younger or not, on physical versus digital cards, something like Top Shot. And if you think that physical is always going to be more important, or if you think at some point digital becomes bigger, especially when you think of things like Fortnite and kids and age and stuff like that.
So admittedly, I'm not too educated on the Top Shot side of things. So just fill me in for a second. Yep. Was there ever a physical component to Top Shot?
No.
Okay, so very different from RWAs then. Very, very different. An online digital trading card game, I think has a lot of potential. I mean, I think about, things like Pokemon games, which don't have a physical component to them, but people are still playing like the games, and they're almost treated like their own in-game assets. You'd look at something like CSGO, for example, where there's no physical component to it, but people trade those knives back and forth, or those guns, or I don't play CSGO, but like on an actual market for money. There's a component to it there. There is a market for digital collectibles, but I stand by that it will forever be smaller than the physical collectible side of things for multiple reasons. Number one, being that a lot of digital collectibles are crap. I'm sorry to say that. They just are. The only successful ones are the ones that have built communities initially, like Pokemon, like CSGO, and they incorporated something like that. Fortnite skins are probably next, and I think Fortnite skins going down that route is going to be incredible. But Fortnite skins doing well does not mean all digital collectibles are going to do well. It is just an extension of Fortnite technology getting better.
Yeah,
that's it. I feel like I fucking broken record band talk to people like this, and they don't get it. The cool thing with RWAs is that they literally represent a real world asset. It is simply a physical object that is tokenized on the blockchain for ease of transferability, proof of ownership, and there's a third point that I'm forgetting, but it's important. All right, just fucking trust me. All right,
trust you.
And so when you look at something like a Pokemon card on Collector Crypt, for example, when you pull a card on the gacha platform, or you go and you buy a card on the Magic Eden store, which is also powered by Collector Grip, mind you, or on Collector Grip's actual marketplace, you own that card when you buy it. You can get that card shipped to you at any point that you want. It is a real world asset. All right. That is not the same as something like that is digital because there's no physical component to it. Sure, maybe you have to pay some like duties fees or a shipping cost or whatever, so you in order to get it into your hands. But that's like a warehouse thing. That's going to happen with anything that you buy anywhere in the world. But you are buying an asset that exists physically. You are simply getting a digital representation of it. For a lot of people, that's easy to understand. I think that makes a lot of sense to a lot of people. Who are like, hey, you don't have to hold on to this thing. We can hold on to it for you. Like, I was talking, I can't say how many people I've talked to. I was talking to someone today about it, where it's like, you have a bunch of cards and be sitting in your house. If you're worried about them getting like the house getting burnt down, or if you're just keeping it in storage or something, why not leave it in a place that is insured and reliable while you still own it? And if you really ever want it, you can claim it at any point. There's no reason you wouldn't be able to. So that's the main difference when I think about digital collectibles versus RWAs. Now, if we take RWAs out and we talk about just physical collectibles, like I just picked this up today, actually. Stuff like this. Or I just picked these up today, actually, stuff like this, like the pack openings and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. These are the things people love. These things people really love. And why? The reason why is very simple. People love the chance to pull a rare. They love the chance to pull something that's exciting. So this feeling of ripping a pack and getting cards out of it, I don't think people are ever going to get tired of it. I think there's something really, really fun about it that I love just the feeling of doing it. You can't get that online. I think that's hard to replicate. However, it's very easy to go broke with this shit. Very, very easy to go broke.
Yeah.
Yes. Whereas definitely. The gacha machines, I'm finding most people are not like losing a lot of money on there. That's the crazy part that I'm finding. And I don't have the stats to prove it, unfortunately. I wish I did. But when I look at like the opportunity that comes with it, if I go and buy one of these cards, I actually just checked these packs. There's 3 cards in here, and they go for $9 Canadian on Amazon. If I go and I rip these cards, and there's 2 commons and a rare in here, the rare is worth $1, and the 2 commons are worth 30 cents each. That's less than $2 for a pack I paid $9 for. Versus, if I go and I play a gacha, the most you can lose on any proper gacha machine is like 50%. It's the most you can lose on any one of them. That's after the buyback and after and after like the worst odds of your pull possible. That's significantly better odds. And you're also getting a graded slab. You don't got to worry about grading it. You don't got to worry about keeping it in like physical condition or anything good like that. I think the EVs are much more positive on gachas. So for people who are interested in Pokemon and want to build a collection, but also don't want to lose a ton of money, yeah, I do think the rate of return is better here. It would be the same as like buying a meme coin at 5K market cap versus buying a meme coin that's been doing well at like a $10 million market cap. It's like, yeah, how am I going to lose it all? Maybe not. No. But with this, it's like, you know, the upside is really, really high because you go and you pull $1,000 card. Then yeah, you know, you from a $10 pack or a $20 pack, you hit an insane lick. However, I think that those EVs are much better on gacha machines as they are. It's hard to correlate them to a physical pack because, like I said, there is the sensation there, but I don't think that either are going to go away. I think they're going to coexist. That's the thing. So you have the digital side of things, the physical side of things, then RWAs that sit right in the middle. I could talk about this for a long, long time, so I'm not going to talk your ear off, but like, it's not just about the RWA side is so interesting to me because it's not just about TCGs and Pokemon cards. That's just like the lowest hanging fruit for companies in Web3 right now. I can't tell you how many gacha machines I've seen spun up in the past few weeks. It's insane. Just so fucking many. But when you extend that out to say anything physical can be tokenized, and you realize it's the best way for people to have insured objects to allow ease of transferability and allow for ownership of things. That was the third thing. It was insurance. For ownership of the items, it's something that can go a long way when you think of high value assets. You think of things like car deeds, which I think AVAX has already accomplished with the DMV. They've managed to get all like the American car deeds on their blockchain. think about things like houses and housing deeds. You think about things. Let's get even like on a much deeper basis here from a governmental standpoint. Things like identification, that sort of stuff. There is a big opportunity there. You think about things like luxury watches or I guess really expensive equipment for like I don't know cameras and stuff like that. I don't know why cameras came to mind. Probably looking at a camera, that's why. But yeah, the opportunity that comes with those sorts of things is massive, and I think RWAs are such an undertapped part of Web3.
Yeah, RWAs are pretty much the meta, I think, and probably if you look at blockchain in general, like you were mentioning, one of the best use cases for anything. Perfect example, like the car titles, is if you buy a car from somebody, imagine in a world where you don't need to go to a dealership, or like Craigslist, right? Like you'd like, they can send you the deed right to your wallet, or like buying a home, like having a real estate agent or a broker or those middlemen. You could just, in a world, I guess, potentially where that doesn't exist, you could buy a house from somebody and they could just send you the title or the deed to the house. And even if you don't do it that way, there could be like an escrow where like the title gets sent to, let's say, the broker or the real estate agent, and then they send it to you once you buy it. But I totally think that on-chain identification and verification of owned real-world assets is probably the number one use case for blockchain in the next like 10 years. So yeah, I totally agree with everything you said. And as far as physical cards, yeah, I mean, about the return rates for gotchas versus physical cards, I remember in 2020 or 2021, probably, I don't know if pack was out then. I probably spent hundreds of dollars, and you're not selling those bulk cards, right? If you get, like in that pack, if you get $1 rare and two 30-cent cards, where are you realistically going to sell those? I mean, you could go to a shop and they might be able to buy them, but like you're waiting for a card that's worth something to then go sell it potentially on eBay. And you're eating all that money until you find a way to sell it, unless you're, again, bulk selling on eBay. But with a gotcha, like you were saying, there's always usually, and I think you can tell me if I'm wrong on the collector crypt, there's like a redeem option. Even if it's minus 50%, at least you get your money back right away. It's like, okay, like I lost, but I don't have to go to a store, sell it to somebody, all that legwork,
Instant liquidity. That matters a lot. Even if it's not like the top dollar, you're still getting like 90% of what the card's worth, 85% of what the card's worth, whatever it is on like your average app. Yeah, I'm taking that every time. Like for most cards, and it's for, it's the same thing with anyone. If you collect only PSA 10s and you pull a card that's a PSA 9, you don't got to worry about going and finding it somewhere now. You can just sell it right back. If you only collect PSA 10s and you come across a PSA 7, but it's a card you really like, well, congratulations. You now have it in your hands. You didn't even know what you were getting. And it's a fun little game, in my opinion, that you get to like try out. And it's not going to be as horribly extensive or as much of an issue as pulling these cards. Like I've been buying some bulk tins recently and selling them back. And it's like, I'm selling like 100 cards for like $5 maybe.
Yeah.
It's funny. Yeah. And like, sure, I'll get buyers there, but finding 100 cards is not easy. But yeah. Yeah.
No, I totally agree. This is kind of off topic, but on the Pokemon topic, have you seen the 30th anniversary set this year? It's going to come out in September.
No, I haven't yet. Is it getting leaked yet? I know people talk about it a lot, but I haven't seen it yet.
So I haven't heard any confirmations, but I heard there's like again, probably a leak about Dragonite being on the cover. I don't know if that you've heard that leak or if I'm way off on that. But I heard that, the 30th anniversary set's going to have a Dragonite chaser. And ironically, my coworkers are in Japan right now. And if you go to the Pokemon Center, you get the Pokemon Center sticker. And I was like, yeah, of course. If it was September, I would have loved to get the 30th anniversary with the Pokemon Center sticker.
Yeah.
But I think that
I wish it was in Japan right now. It would have been so cool. But yeah.
Yeah, I think that set is probably, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, I think that set's probably going to be one of the more rare ones of the last few years, because I'm not an expert on Pokemon, but I do know there's a lot of cards and there's a lot of generations. And I know that, gens 1 through, let's say, 5 are pretty nostalgic. But when you start getting higher than that, how rare do those cards stay in like, 25, 24 sets, 23 sets, as in like 2024, 3, 4, right? All those sets. And I think like something like a 30th anniversary would potentially have more value than like a 2025 set that's just that year's set.
You're asking,
unless I'm wrong.
So to be honest, I don't know. I'm still learning a lot of the card sector, but I guess the real answer is we're not gonna know. Like, what's the new? It's Ascended Heroes, I think, is the newest set. I think, if I'm not mistaken.
I haven't bought any, honestly, but
It's one of the newer sets. I know Ascended Heroes is one of it's not the newest one, but one of the newer ones. And so the biggest card or the most rarest card in the Mega Ascended Heroes set is the Gengar VMAX, and it's a really cool card. And right now it's worth I think like $5,000 if it's a PSA 10.
And you're doing the series on it, right? I saw the video.
Oh, funny. That's something different, but yes.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
I would love to pull that card. No, but this card is, and like this card's about $1,000 raw. I think 5,000 graded 10.
Crazy.
Crazy. I know, and it's the most expensive card in the lot. And so it's like, yeah, that's where it's worth right now. But 10 years from now, is it going to hold the same value as something like the base set Charizards or the fossil set Pokemon, that sort of stuff? And you don't know, but like that's why those first editions are so sought after, because everyone knows no matter what, people always want what's first. People always want the things that are, the OGs. They'll love that shit. I love that shit. So yeah,
I love that shit, dude. Are you kidding me? I mean, yeah, I love a Gen 1 first edition PSA 10 Charizard just retire. But yeah, actually, something that's kind of off topic but on topic, and I want to ask you because I actually recently saw it. Is have you seen Project Hail Mary? It's totally off topic, but I just want to know.
Yes, I have. Yeah.
Okay.
I saw it in I think IMAX maybe. I don't remember what the screen size was, but yeah.
Okay. And this is like kind of a this is kind of a detour from cards to film and like.
No, movies, you're fine. But, I love talking about movies. I'm always happy to.
On paper, honestly, it might be the best movie I've seen in the last 5 years.
You liked it that much, really?
I did. And maybe I'm like, I mean, I go to the movies a decent amount. I watch a lot of movies. My wife and I watch a lot of movies. So I wouldn't consider myself like a critic, obviously. I'm not like a cinephile.
Movies are made to be enjoyed, man. Like I'll be the first to say it wasn't like my favorite movie of all time, but I really liked it. I gave it, I think, 4 out of 5 on my Letterboxd. And
yeah,
like,
that's still high.
It's I think it's an amazing film. But if the movie means a lot to you and you love it, why the hell not, man? Like, why would you not? Like, I think it's right to love it and be obsessed with it. That's the thing. Fuck what I have to say. Fuck what anyone else has to say. Film is meant to transcend and be the thing that, like, those stories are meant to hold a close spot in your heart. That's what they're made for. And so if you feel that way about a movie, I love that. Anything that gets people to go out to the movie theaters and watch a movie in theaters makes me so happy. That's what I love to see. That's what I care about, like, more than anything. As someone who loves and adores film, I just want to see theaters getting the revenue they deserve. Whenever they don't charge $20 for a bag of popcorn. But that's I know. But yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed. I'm glad you enjoyed Project Hail Mary. It is a great film. I'm already calling it out. It's going to win Best VFX at the Oscars, and I hope Ryan Gosling gets at least a nomination. I hope he does, because I think he deserves it.
No, the whole movie was really good. And I totally agree. Yeah, I mean, movies they transcend a lot of things, right? It's how you make it. It makes you feel. Before we get going, because I know it's kind of wrapping up, I want to rapid fire a few questions I was thinking of. And one of them, which is based on just CT, because we started there, is if someone, would say me, or anyone, is starting right now from 0 followers, they just made a Twitter account and followed Frisk, what is something that you think they should do first? Not even to grow, but also to enjoy themselves and grow as a creator, potentially.
Find a niche. Find a niche, undoubtedly. And I shouldn't say this. Rage baiting works really well, but don't try and do everything at once. Find a niche and talk a lot about it. Reply to people, follow the people that are good into it. If I could go back in time, it's the biggest. It's like the biggest thing I would do. I'm glad I found my niche back in the day, which was Solana NFTs. Like, that was a very small niche at the time. But I only wish I had done more with it. I was in the right room at the right time, and I just wish I had done more. That's all. Like, I did a lot of the time, but I think back and I'm like, I could have done more. I really could have. And I would tell it to anyone, is like, if you're really hungry and you really want to like grow an account, grow a following, that sort of stuff, find a niche, meet the people in there, make posts about it. It'll go a long way.
There's just so much opportunity. I mean, crypto Twitter is like the number one place anyone in the world can have a phone and an internet connection and create a persona, or themselves, right? Just create an account and grow that account to monetization or creator, whatever you want to call it, being paid as a creator, the quickest, in my opinion, out of anything that exists that I've ever seen. So it's definitely an insane space. Second question is, favorite movie. I don't want to say of all time, because it's kind of a hard question if you can answer it. Let's just say the last 5 years.
but I feel like all time is almost an easier answer.
Okay,
Um,
all time.
okay. I think about this all the time. Um, you know how on the letterbox there's like your top 4 movies?
Yeah.
So the top 3 that I consistently tell everyone for me is The Social Network, Whiplash, and Princess Mononoke. Those are my 3 for sure. My 4th slot is always changing, but those 3 undoubtedly are, I think, my favorite films, the films that have changed a lot of me as a person and spoken to me very deeply. I could name off a bunch of other films that I love, but if I had to pick 3, it's those ones. I and my number one between all of them changes from day to day. What's your favorite movie, or what are the movies that you've thoroughly enjoyed?
Okay. Favorite movie of all time is okay. So there's a lot of different ways I can go with this. I'll give you a top 3, like you gave me a top 3.
Sure.
The Big Sick, which we haven't seen. It's a romantic comedy. Again, I'll preface that first by saying there's other movies on the list that aren't those. Yeah. If you haven't seen it, or if you have a girlfriend or anybody in your life, or you want to watch by yourself,
curious.
and it's a really good movie.
Yep.
I like it a lot. I like sad things. It's sad, so there's that.
Seems sad. Nice.
I think Interstellar is something that feels like it's probably a shoe-in, but I don't want to be too on the nose of every other person who's watched movies and says Interstellar is good. But I did see Interstellar when I was young and in IMAX, and it did change my life for like
great
a year.
Experience then, dude.
So
bolster the hell out of that. That's a great movie. Yeah, that's amazing.
It was a crazy experience. You just said you saw Project Hail Mary in IMAX. Seeing Interstellar in IMAX, like the weekend of it came out or week after, was like such a wild experience, right? So that's up there for me. And the third place always kind of rotates. I feel like Whiplash is an incredible movie. I loved that a lot. Something like The Big Short, which I also liked a lot.
Also,
The Social Network is good, but they're making it 2, by the way. I'm sure people are controversial about that, but
I'm going to see it. I'm going to see it. I know.
Me too. Me too.
Low expectations. That's all.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's a sequel to a movie that was probably already perfect. So probably not.
It is. I think it is a perfect movie. I don't think you could improve it. But yeah.
Yeah. No, it's incredible. But yeah, man. I'm actually not sure what my favorite movie of all time is. It's a hard question. I didn't prep for this to answer myself.
You named 2 great movies, and I think that's more than enough. And like, even if Interstellar would be the basic answer, dude, it's a marvel of a film that no one will ever recreate, in my opinion, ever. And like, there's a lot of sci-fi movies out there that are fantastic. None of them are on the caliber of Interstellar. And there are other sci-fi movies I like better than Interstellar, to be honest. Like, I enjoy Inception more. I enjoy Blade Runner 2049 more. I think I might even enjoy Project Hail Mary more than Interstellar. But Interstellar is accomplished something that none of those movies ever will. And it's this insane amount of realism and like ideas about sci-fi that are so wildly outlandish and yet potentially realistic. It's absurd. It's an absurd, crazy movie. Nolan is a fucking demon when he writes this stuff.
Yeah, I love Nolan. He's great. I'll say one thing actually to piggyback on that. I watch a lot of shows, and one show that you should check out, anyone should check out, which I love, and it's very niche. So you're either going to love it or you're going to hate it, is Afterlife. It's directed and starred by Ricky Gervais. It is a comedy. Yes. Okay. That show might be my favorite show of all time. I think that's probably my Social Network when it comes to TV shows.
Yeah. Yeah. It's I've seen some clips. It looks very sad. Like a very, very sad TV.
It is, but it's very good. It comes full circle and the closure is really good, and I'm obsessed with closure. So there's that.
Nice. I love that. If you like sad TV shows, my favorite TV show of all time is a show called BoJack Horseman. I'm a big fan of it.
I've heard of it. I haven't watched it, but I've heard of it.
It's a very depressing comedy, which I assume is Afterlife as well too. I'm sure it's a comedy.
It is. It's a depressing comedy. It uses comedy in a way that makes you laugh and then be like, I feel bad that I laughed, but not in like a mean way. In like it's actually sad what he just said, but he said it in a funny way because it's his pain. Like he's not making fun of someone. He's like projecting his feelings, and I think it's like
funny in that way.
What makes it sad? Yeah. Yeah, and then I guess one last question is, what is something that I haven't asked you and you want to talk about? And you can say nothing, that you want people to know about at all. And it could be like something you're working on, or something you want to do, or you're doing, or just something you want to say to people, or me, or anybody, but just what's something I didn't ask that you always wanted to be asked.
I want to give you something you can clip. I'm trying to think, like, what's the best thing that could.
It's just a general question. You don't have to overthink it.
Nothing comes to mind immediately because we covered a lot of the things that I'm like currently interested in. Like the present day version of myself is looking at a lot. However, I will say this. I think the content vertical for people in Web3 right now is very much so unparalleled, because a lot of people are putting out low effort stuff. And if you wanted to make Web3 content and you wanted to do it right, I don't think the bar is that hard to beat. I know because I've gotten lazy with it. And I know because a lot of my peers have gotten lazy with it. But the people that have stuck with it and stuck through it are going to, they're already eating right now, but they're going to eat massively, massively when the bull run inevitably comes back. And it will, just a matter of time. If you have even a couple thousand followers right now, hell, some of you have more than that if you're watching this, you can go a long, long way. You just need to be better than everyone else around you. And that sounds hard until you realize that the bar is much lower than it seems. Consistency goes a long way. Entertainment is the most important factor. And if you can do that, I think you're going to have a great future in what is, in my opinion, the most prolific industry in the world right now, which is emerging tech.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. We'll end it there because that is just a absolutely perfect ending that I could think of.
I'm glad.
Frisk, I appreciate you so much for coming on.
I'm glad I wasn't too preachy there.
This has been the best 30 minutes of my entire week. I really appreciate your time.
I'm really glad to hear that. Thank you, man. I'm glad you could do something fun.
Yeah, people are going to really enjoy listening, and I appreciate you so much for your time, man.
I really
Thank you
do.
so much.
No worries, man. Thank you for having me on. I really appreciate this a lot. Thank you for reaching out. It means a ton to me.
Of course. Where can people find you besides Twitter? Are you doing anything else? Just Twitter?
Right now, just Twitter. Yeah.
Okay.
Hopefully more in the future, but right now my Twitter's not popping enough. I got to start there before I do something. Maybe that's a sign to do something else in general. I don't know.
All right, that sounds good, man. Thanks for your time. Appreciate you.
Of course, dude, Mark. Appreciate you, and I hope you guys are following Mark if you're watching this right now. You guys should be, because he's going to be doing more of this. A lot of fun stuff.
Appreciate you. Thank you.